What is up, everyone? Today is officially my app development journey episode 2. So I'm still continuing my course, I'm still learning. This is the current state of my first practice app. Yes, it is simply a to do list, but um, I learned about so I'm using Expo to build apps. My computer, unfortunately, I have a Mac, and Xcode is so heavy, so I can't even really use an emulator on my computer, um, just because I have no space, and Xcode takes so much space. It's just to download Xcode, and then because it's so heavy, right? And then if I want to use the emulator, each emulator, iPhone, whatever, super heavy. So we're using Expo. So I learned about the tab navigator. I did that, right? The other thing I learned was, um, you know, importing importing whatever the UI icons. I guess I also learned that how to use inactive and active state. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I learned how to mess around with the coloring, the background, setting up, doing the settings and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a lot more enjoyable. It is not scary. I was kind of messing around with like vibe coding and stuff like that, but you know, I can't. You can't really trust whatever the AI puts out, especially when it comes to like the data and information. And I mean, it's not bad. Everything's making sense so far. I'm not too stressed about it. I did make a comment on my notes that, okay, the stuff that really stresses me out is sort of like the back end section of applications because, first of all, it's messy, and that's like the real meat of that stuff. But in terms of like front end development, yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. No wonder, like in terms of being a front end developer, I mean, AI doesn't have taste. You still have to curate the taste, but I could definitely understand why and how AI can really replace front end developers. Back end developers, I think that's still a little tricky because that's really the root of applications. That's like the most important stuff. That's where the data is held. And, that's that you kind of have to be on top of. You have to know your shit. Um, with the front end, you could mess up and whatnot, but you could always nudge it in the right direction. But when it comes to like the logic and stuff like that, it's tricky, and we still haven't hit that. So it is what it is. But I am feeling a lot more confident, especially with the tab versus like the stack. Not really though. All I know is tab navigation is on the bottom of the screen. I think the stack navigation is like it's like a sidebar or something to navigate. I don't know. I'm learning, but that's all I wanted to share. Bye.